So you've heard of fake news, but I would also argue there's also fake fans out there, and there's more than I'd like to admit within our American culture. Thank you for joining us on another week of #DadLife, a part of the Beyond Real Estate podcast. I am Nick Gumpert, a real estate professional here in Southern California. With me, as always, is Jalen McKenna over in Denver, Colorado. And today we're going to dive into not fake news, but again, fake fans and why I think that. So join us after this short introduction.
Welcome to Beyond Real Estate with Jalen, the podcast discussing parenting, real estate, and business. Every week we go in depth on how to become successful in life and business. Nick, take it away.
Thank you for joining us on another week of #DadLife, a part of the Beyond Real Estate podcast. This week, I want to dive into this topic of fake fans. I think there are more fake fans in this country, probably than any other country. And I think that goes across every single sport, male and female. I'll start off by backing that opinion with so many bandwagon fans. And it annoys me because I've been to other countries where I know they have, whether it's a pride for their country through and through, they don't just tag on to the national team when they're winning. They're crying when their team's losing. I feel like our country just as all those frickin' losers, they lost again, and they don't follow them until they start winning again. Prime example, I know of a number of people here in Southern California that didn't want to watch USC versus UCLA until this year when both teams were winning. Like, that's just fake to me. Like, why do you want a ticket when both teams are 8-2, but you don't want to have anything to do with the ticket when they're 2-8? So that's my initial rant. I will go on and on. But Jay, I want to throw that one to you. What do you think about fake fans here in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah. I live it here in Denver.
You and your Yankee hat.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's hard times being a Yankees fan. I don't know what you're talking about. Haven't won a World Series since, 2009.
Payroll.
I know. We have no excuse for it. It's absolutely absurd. It pains me every single month that I'm a Yankees fan, every single year.
Define your pain, honestly. Like, is there any sentimental, like, wow, I really had a bad day when they lost this game?
Yes. As a Yankees fan, when they lost to the Astros, of all people, I was just like, kill me. The season's over for me. I don't want to watch baseball anymore. This is BS. The sport's dumb. I need some cooling off time for the offseason. I didn't even watch the World Series, in all honesty. I was like, go Phillies. I like Bryce Harper. I like some of the Phillies players. Hate the Astros. And the Astros just like dominated. And I was like, yeah, the season's over. I could care less about baseball right now. Yeah. I am a big baseball fan. And then the Broncos, same thing. It's like, you got Russell Wilson. We're going to be we're Super Bowl contenders. It's like,
right?
No, we ain't. We're 3-8. Woof. That hurts. And it was the same just feeling going all over again, where you have these high expectations and then you lose and you're like, life could be better. It's like, well, you shouldn't let a sports team, franchise, the results of it affect your life. But it's like, and I think that's the common belief amongst a lot of Americans is just don't let it affect your life.
Right.
You're like, okay, but why are you showing up to watch it?
And let me clarify, I'm not proposing people are diehard fans if they're not willing to burn their city down on their team loses. I'm not saying that. But again, I'll redirect this into NBA world. Nobody cared about the Milwaukee Bucks 10 years ago. Not a soul besides those that lived in Milwaukee. Like, people in Wisconsin overall probably didn't care about the Milwaukee Bucks. And now people are like, oh, I need the jersey, right? The Golden State Warriors, another prime example. For a 12-year-old kid, that's all they know, right? Like, Golden State's always been good to that 12-year-old. They absolutely sucked 15 years ago. Nobody talks about the Golden State Warriors. So that's the part that pisses me off. When you and I have little ones, I can promise you my son I will not be buying a jersey for him for the most recent NBA championship team. No chance. If he wants that jersey, he can figure out his own way to get that money. But that is not coming from me. Nor will the cheering of, oh, who's in first place? That's my team. Like that's the stuff that really annoyed me. And I feel like our society as a whole just embraces that. Who's on top? I'm following them now because I want to be a winner. It's like, oh.
Yeah. You know who we should really shout out right now? The one city that has never sold out no matter how good their team is. Tampa Bay. Whether it's the Lightning or the Tampa Bay Rays, they both have atrocious, just people, like fans showing up to the stadium. Horrendous. No matter how good the team, the Tampa Bay Rays are like a continual contender every single year, and the fans could care less within that city. They are staying true to their colors. They're like, we don't care about baseball, no matter how well you do. So, good on them. That's really being true.
And I'll go down this rabbit hole now that the World Cup is here. Men's soccer team. If the men didn't get out of their group, the first comparison people get is like, they're not as good as our women, are they? It's like, let's come out and stop. Because the U.S. has been an outlier when it comes to funding for women's sports, specifically soccer, like since the 90s, which isn't that long. But relatively speaking, it's much longer than the Germanys, than the Japan, than the Brazil, than in terms of the amount of money we pumped into that. And we just had such a massive head start. That wasn't the case for the men's team. So it's frustrating to me, again, as a fan, when people want to compare our men's team to our women's team, because yes, it's a thing sport. I understand that. But people don't understand the history or lack of history in the women's game that, again, we just had a head start over the rest of the world. And then when we lose to a country like Japan, we're like, oh, they're bad. They're terrible. Hold on. Do you understand that Japan has residency programs where kids just go to school and play soccer? Now on the women's side, they didn't have that in 1991. They've decided to shift their funds and their structure to facilitate that. And I feel like people are so quick to dismiss or not even know. They just judge everything by scoreline. Oh, did they win?
Yeah.
They won? They're good. Oh, they left it. Who? Oh, they're terrible. They're garbage. It's like, you didn't even see the game. You just know that they lost 86 to 92. Like, you have no context of what happened in the game. Hear about that in the World Cup right now. We're getting some surprises. Right? It's like, that team lost to who? Oh, they're terrible now. It's like, they outshot the team 13-2. Like, that is not lost the game. Like, people just are so quick to dismiss context and what really happened for a final outcome. And then they'll jump on bandwagons so quick. And that's the part that, again, with us raising kids take note of that, right? Whether that conversation and that dismissive comment was geared towards your son or not, or daughter, is irrelevant. They're picking up on these cues and to say, oh, that's normal. I'll just jump on the bandwagon because dad says they suck because they lost. I don't want to be that fan of that team. And that's the annoying part, because it just creates that rat race of next, who's good this year? Let's follow them.
I see it in the subreddit for the Denver Broncos a lot, because the Denver Broncos suck this season.
Right.
Everyone knows it. For many reasons, but there's a bunch of people on the bandwagons of like, this guy sucks, that guy sucks, it's this person's fault for everything. Well, there's 11 players on the field at one time. Those other 10 had no impact on the game at all. It was just that one guy. It's like, so, and I'm talking about Russ. I'm a Russ apologist in that case. Shut up. He's on his like fourth stringers for his offensive line. Yeah. He's on his like second and third stringers for his wide receiver core. It's like, anyone would suck on it. Like, and he has a head coach it's new head coach, doesn't know what he's doing. And so many people are like, this team sucks, fire everyone, get rid of everything. It's like, how are you a real fan? At the end of the day, if you're like the first person that just slightly annoys me needs to be fired. Right. They were doing that game one. They were like game one of the season they lost.
They're the same person that if they had somebody that they liked, they just like, give them time. Just give them time. Anytime. Right.
Yeah, you're like, what is interesting? Why? Did you invest in a lot of their like rookie cards or something? You're like, I really need this guy to work out, or else I mortgage the future on sports cards for them, or on that team. I just already bet they would make it to the Super Bowl and put our whole house's mortgage on it. Yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, the guy's fine. Just give it a few years.
Yeah,
it's good. No.
And I'll bring this back to, well, hashtag dad life in terms of kids and what teams they support and choose, but make it a global topic. And that is with some of my opportunities to have traveled elsewhere, it's very interesting to see small cities, towns, back their team through and through, win or lose. And some of these teams have been losing for 30 decades, you know, and they're still like, nope, that's my team. It doesn't change with monetary value. It doesn't change with championships. It's like, this is where I grew up. Like, I don't have a choice, essentially. And I know the first thing I'll probably get with backlash on this one is like, Nick, we're not that country, right? So I get that. With that said, it's still frustrating to see so many people jump on different bandwagons. It's like, if you like the Warriors now, I just hope you still like them 30 years from now when they probably suck. And that you can still wear that jersey and not feel embarrassed for wearing that jersey. I think that's the cool thing about other places. It's like they're unapologetic. It's like, yeah, I support this team that's smaller. It's like, and, you know, versus here, it's like, look, you like the Sacramento Kings, idiot. They haven't been good since they played Shaq and Kobe in 2001. You know, and you're going to be fun of for supporting that team. Versus elsewhere, it's like, kudos to you. Like, that's good for you. That's cool.
Yeah, I grew up as a Yankees fan. Living in Colorado my whole life.
You grew up in Colorado.
I know.
Why did you cater to the biggest market?
I know. I picked it purely as a kid, like 6 years old, whatever.
Okay.
My dad gave me a signed plaque that had Ted Williams, Stan Musial, and Mickey Mantle on it.
Okay.
And so it had three. So I could have equally been a Red Sox fan or a St. Louis Cardinals fan or a Yankees fan, but Mickey Mantle was my guy. I love Mickey Mantle. He was the one that he's still my guy.
He didn't grow up in the 60s like that.
He played it. Yeah, he played in the from 50s to 60s. Yeah. And so that's who I picked. At the end of the day, for any of those people that are like, well, you don't have any reason to. Like, I had like a great uncle that pitched for him in the 50s. If I need a bloodline, I'll just go with that. Like, screw you, you know. But living in Colorado, though, I know that like the definition of those people that are just bandwagoners, because Rockies fans, I don't know what's up with Rockies fans in particular. I don't know if it's just they've been hurt so long by the Rockies organization that they just lash out at anyone else. But they would constantly be like, the Yankees suck. Like, the Rockies play the Yankees once a year for 3 games. Like, you should have no animosity towards the Yankees. Like, what is your angst towards it? And so that's like the definition of bandwagon, in my opinion, because it's like, name your starting lineup for the Rockies. You can't. Why are you even talking trash about baseball at this point?
Yeah. and I want to go down that one real quick, down that path, which is fake fans, and that's annoyance of mine, because it's also frustrating when the proper call will be made in any sport and the fans boo. It's like, what are you booing?
Yeah.
Like, it was the right call. Like, video replay is showing you that was a foul, or that was like an incomplete catch. Like, it's like, boo. It's like, to me, that makes zero sense. And the lack of creativity all of our fan bases have across every single sport is annoying to me. And I say that again, just hearing, I feel like we've all been exposed in some shape, way, or form, whether it's TV, video games, whatever, of different cultures just having a constant section that are constantly cheering for their team. Like, I'm envious of that. Because the most creative thing the US has come up with is a wave. So there's no verbal anything, it's just the wave. And somehow that's a freaking cool thing to do at any sporting event. And booing, and if it's the US national team playing USA. And it's like, how can we not have any more, like, a more creative bone in our body and do things in unison? I say that because I was in England watching a soccer game, and, you know, free flowing, it's 0-0. For some people, yes, big surprise, 0-0 at the time. But a guy scores, and it was Robin van Persie, who was playing for Manchester United at that time. I kid you not, 75,000 people in unison are chanting, "Oh, Robin van Persie, oh, Robin." Like, it's unbelievable. 75,000 people just, like, there was no big screen saying like, hey, with me now, say it with me. Like, no, it was like on a whim after the guy scored, and people were just in unison with it. Like, that was one of the coolest moments I've ever experienced as a soccer fan, being in a different country that you're like, this exists, and I'm witnessing it firsthand. Like, this is phenomenal.
You can see it in football sometimes if they have like a Heath Miller, like if they have that long E sound or sound.
But that's not it.
That's as creative as we get. That's it.
It's so right for like as much passion as some people are, like football fanatics. Like, we haven't come up with any, again, cool chants. Like, our chants turn into cuss words of like F off and are you effing kidding me? And it's like, that's our passion. Through anything creative with cheering for your team.
Hey man, we're the best country in the world. We never said we were the most creative, right?
Point taken.
Yeah. Have you seen our stuff? We are modern. We are mid-century modern. That is the style here in America. We look good, but boy, we've been done a million different times. Final thought on that one was just talking about creativity. Even so, the NFL is playing in a few different countries this year. They played in England. That was the Broncos putting a whooping on the Jaguars. Ooh, yeah, Jaguars.
They're coming around. Jaguars are coming out.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is finally playing like a first overall draft pick.
Yeah.
But they went down. It was the Cardinals versus, I have no idea who. I want to say,
Talking about they played in Germany.
No, although that was interesting too. But in Mexico City, I remember it was Cardinals and someone else. They got beat by him.
Okay,
that's all I remember.
The Seahawks?
Might have been the Seahawks
or 49ers.
49ers. It was the 49ers.
Yeah.
That's right. And just the way that crowd interacted with it overall, you can tell that they're used to seeing that. Like, maybe it's because maybe we need to talk about this. Maybe it's because soccer just has really long periods of being boring, and so it's during that time the fans have to find a way to entertain themselves.
So I was told this a while ago. NFL, a guy used the stopwatch. He said there was about approximately 4 minutes and 20 seconds of actual play time in a full 60-minute NFL game. 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
I don't
of actual play time, because each play happens and is over within 2 and 3 seconds. 2 and 3 seconds. The rest of the time, people are standing around, walking around, going to a huddle, standing on the line, waiting for the quarterback to say hi. And so they're in their 3-point stance for 30 seconds while he lets the clock wind down. Like,
I mean, each offense on average runs 60 plays though.
Your point is worth it.
Well, and it's like a gladiator, fight of
but think about
throwing people around. Who doesn't like that?
But think about this. So Germany won yesterday 4-2. If they were worth 7 points, that'd be a 28-14 game. You're just like, oh, that's a bang average football game. 28-14, but it's 4-2. But it's a high scoring, but it's still a low score in comparison to.
But also, it's 90 minutes versus 60 of regulation time. So.
Yeah. You were going where with that? The Mexico City.
Yes.
And the engagement.
Yes. Yeah. The fans though started chanting the ole. Ole, 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 ole. And that was that. They just started chanting that up mid game. They're like, that's pretty cool. Americans could get behind that. I mean, the average football fan though, they're not a huge fan of other countries, so doing something like that would be like, yep, the foreigners have gotten in the stands. I don't know what's feel outnumbered. It'd make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, whether that's right or wrong. It's 100% wrong. But at the same time, you can definitely see how it is different the way the sports fans interact and try to interact with the stadium and what's going on. Yeah, I still say it's because soccer is a little bit more boring than every other sport, and so they have to find something to do to pass the time, while guys are dribbling the ball.
The people are watching this World Cup, and that is not the case for any other sport.
You guys got around a little bit earlier than the rest of us. Baseball's making a comeback around the world. I'll just tell you that, because everyone can have a stick in a ball.
Debate for another day, I think, Jay.
Okay. Sounds good.
listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this one on #DadLife. All I ask, just don't be fake. So whichever team you like right now, just don't change that for at least 15 years and proudly wear that jersey through and through. That's all I'm going to ask.
Hopefully your team doesn't get moved in those 15 years.
That too.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think in terms of, are we a bunch of fakes here in America? Do you take that side of it? Or do you feel like, no, it's just normal and I'm not fake, I'm just me. But let us know with your comments. If any of this resonated with you, if you enjoyed this one, this is a platform we strive to edutain, not just educate. I feel like there's no education in this one, but there's entertainment in this one. So if this resonated with you in that department and you want to make sure you don't miss out on future #DadLives or just Beyond Real Estate in general, give that a subscribe. That way you can stay caught up there. And also so we can just organically connect to more people that are like-minded. So until next week, this is This Week. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks again for listening. If you want to hear more of Jalen McKenna, Colorado's mortgage dad, and his take on the Colorado real estate market, or just mortgages and mortgage news in general, check out the links below.
Also, check out the links below for more information on products, books, or references made in this podcast. And please don't forget